Oh, I thought I did it with the app. Oh, I did. But there, okay, I got to go back to the app. I got to mute the YouTube. Put the YouTube on the other screen. Okay. Scary title for this one, huh? My War for Shiloh over Forrest Fenn scandal, unveiling the real shy guy. Another thing I was, okay, Shiloh, where does his name come from? I'll tell you where Shiloh's name comes from. His name comes from the Battle of Shiloh. Where's I got to get my picture on this screen. I got to see what I'm doing. Got it. So anyhow, and I found links tying my great grandfather in his Civil War stuff. One of Forrest's relatives, I don't know if it's a direct ancestor or what, but his name was, let's see, Eldridge Dwight Fenn. Okay, Eldridge Dwight Fenn in 1863 wrote about Cornish, the second occupation newspaper that consists at a time of 4 half-sheet pages. Was the Cornish character 18 Chanticleer, whatever. It must be French. It's not far Cornish, not too far from Louisiana and French, so they probably have a little French. 18 published and edited by C.W. Hillworth. So the Thursday morning editor-publisher was Eldridge Dwight Fenn, Cornish second occupation newspaper. But he had wrote about, where should I start this? Hildreth announced that the Chanticleer is published as often as immense amounts of work, which is cowered up us will permit. Okay. As the immense amount of work which is crowded up us will permit. So it's like as much as you can handle it being stuffed up your ass, right? Began in May 18 and ended in 1863 and ended sometime later that year. It was similar in tone and content to the Cornish War Eagle. The two papers, I might as well share the screen on this. There. Okay. So yeah, and I can blow it up bigger. There we go. So here he is, Thursday morning. Okay. It was published by Eldridge Dwight Fenn, Cornish second occupation newspaper, consisting of 3 pages. Cornish edited by C. Hillworth of the 2nd Infantry. Hillworth announced that the Chancellor published as often as immense amounts which is crowded will permit. Begun in 1863. Sometime later that year, it was tone and content, the Cornish War Eagle. The two papers reported news about Union soldiers in Cornish, Union victories, rebel loss, and issued derogatory editorials about Southern troops. Legal notices and news about the state or country found in local newspapers were absent. However, the War Eagle carried some business advertisements. So, what was the Eagle into? Full-page color ads, right? And I got a picture of my great-great-grandfather with the Eagle at Vicksburg. But they also served at Shiloh. And actually, my great-great-grandfather, he was captured by the Confederates at Shiloh and listed as AWOL until he had returned to his camp with his company. I got the records of. I have his muster records and all that. But I'll get you something else to put on the screen here. Well, let me check on the see what's going on in chat for a second. Hey, Amy. So I'll get the other thing on the screen here. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Reload that. There we go. And we'll go here, share screen. There, I gave it all the stars. Ha ha. Journey to Shiloh. I watched it. Okay. So, oh, stop that. Journey to Shiloh. Okay. And Forrest, remember, he mentions Wallace Beery. He wouldn't sell Wallace Beery any bullets. Wallace Beery played Long John Silver in Treasure Island. But he said he wasn't as famous as Noah Beery. And you see, Noah Beery he looks like Fendi. He's in the movie, in this movie, Journey to Shiloh. And who else is in this movie? Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford, you know what Harrison Ford's in this movie? Willie. And you know what happens to him? He gets a bullet right between the eyes. So it's Journey to Shiloh, about these 7 Comanche, County, Texas Comanches is what they call themselves. And so they were supposedly Comanches that had gone to fight for the South. And they were they thought they were heading for Virginia to fight, but they got dragged out into Shiloh. And all but, I won't say. I won't ruin the end. But yeah, it's one of them. It's a sad movie in the end. But let me see. Maybe I can pause. I'll point out when it shows Noah Beery's. Noah was in that scene. Let me see. An adventure like never before. Journey to Shiloh. Oh, I'm sharing the screen so I could just get the over here and here. Okay. So now, doesn't that look like Fendi? That's Noah Beery in Journey to Shiloh. It looks just like Fendi. I think Fendi might be related to Noah Beery. It's okay if you are Fendi. Before sell you any bullets. You see where I'm going? Okay, so now I'm going to get up here. Journey to Shiloh. We're going to go down here. And who's in this? James Caan. Caan! Some famous people. Michael Burns. Oh, Jan Michael Vincent. A little bit Luckett. And so, yeah, you got to kill Harrison as Willie, Bill Bearden. And I think James Scott Burnett, yeah. And look at this, Tisha. Tisha Sterling. How's that, Greg? Tisha. So and here's Noah Beery. Noah Beery. He looks like Fendi. But we're going to go to Harrison Ford's. Oh, we want to go to Harrison Ford Wiki. I can just do a new tab. Ah! Harrison Ford, actor. Wikipedia, Harrison Ford. Now, see, there's something right here. Career. Former actor, career. Where does it say? I find it this way. SHY. Shy. Okay. So Harrison Ford took a drama class in the final quarter of his senior year to get over his shyness and became fascinated with acting. And so here is Harrison Ford in Return to Shiloh, and Forrest Fenn's relative ancestor wrote stories about these battles in the Civil War. And I think I haven't looked up the casualties for Shiloh, but maybe somebody in his family had died there at Shiloh. But I'm pretty sure that Shiloh got his name from the Battle of Shiloh. And I was there in in 2014 on my way to search. I learned about the hunt. I was in Florida, and I was in Tennessee around my birthday in March. And on my birthday, I went to the Shiloh battlefield and took some pictures around there and stuff. There they are. Okay, so this is one of the memorials there at Shiloh. It's a Confederate memorial at Shiloh, Tennessee. And, we have the Confederate soldiers and maybe I shouldn't be, some idiot will want to tear the stuff down, and anybody tries to shoot them, just shoot them. Can't remember the fallen from the past. This is the Illinois monument. Illinois erects this monument to commemorate her sons who were here, gave their service to perpetuate the honor and glory of the United States. So, it looks like a Rogers Rangers scene. But yeah, it's a big old monument there. This is it. I think part of this is the side view. That's what's on top of that monument. I believe that's the top of it. The world will little note nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what we did here. That's something Forrest would say. These be the asterisk. Yeah, what they said won't be remembered, but what they did will. There I am in the museum at Shiloh. That's a dead man's hook after the battle. See, that's a bayonet made into a hook. After the battle, buried crews began the grim work. 2 soldiers would hook their modified bayonets under each arm of a dead soldier and drag the body to a wagon or a burial trench. This grave item leveraged to pull and allowed them to not touch the dead body. So yeah, they just bent a bayonet. A couple of guys, one guy on each arm, and whoop, pull him onto the trailer. That's how they took the dead off to the. That's Fendi, man. Fendi has got to be related to Noah Beery. Okay. So now the Cornish, I was already on that page. Journey to Shiloh. These are the people in the movie. Chet Stratford, Robert Pine. Now, doesn't he look a lot like Forrest? A little bit like Forrest. Chips. This guy in Chips. Magnum PI. Blah 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 blah. Okay. All right. So Harrison Ford was a shy guy. Harrison Ford was in American Graffiti in the Little Dude Scoop. And Suzanne Summers was in it. Tell her daddy takes the T-bird away. You know, this is what I mean. This is the synchronicity that tie it to it. Doug Preston knows. Doug Preston, he knows. I don't know. But I see this auction and all. It's really a scandal. That's a scandal. That's a downright dirty scandal. I don't know if Forrest left some people that do. Maybe they're pulling off a big distraction for Forrest while something else is happening, or you gotta hope so. But when Forrest said that the person who finds it can do whatever they want with it, and then the person that figured it out gets screwed because they put up this fake finder who is a fictional finder. He told us that was his pseudonym. That was his fictitious author's name. That's why Doug Preston congratulate him for his work of fiction. Also, I got a new website. Let me see. Well, actually, you put the website in and it goes to a place where I got my art for sale. Yeah, so it's like pareidolia, except it's pareidolia, like Dolly. Change the O to an A is all. .com. And so my art is Dolly-like, some of it. So I created pareidolia.com. Pretty cool, huh? Let me see. Where is it? Where'd it go? I got a screenshot of it. Oh, no, here. Oh, come on. Screenshots. There. Okay, there's a share thing again. Oh. Just trying to keep things on top of the screen here. So, yeah. So I got some stuff on there. Let me see. I can go to the page, show you my because this one, you can order it. I've got the signature on it's in the print. Because you know how much trouble it is. You got these people fulfilling it, printing it, putting it in the frame, and shipping it to you. To add in shipping it to me taking it apart, signing it, putting it back together, and shipping it to you is too much. So I have and so you buy one with the print, the signatures in the print. But if you ever bring it to me, I'll sign the back of it or whatever. So I got that, and I go back to here. Whoop. Oh, it's showing. Okay, now you see my screen there. Let me see. What was I going to show you? I can't remember. Oh, I was going to show you my website. Oh, you got to spell it right. EIPA. So, yeah. So it's PAREIDAI. I'm sorry. PAREIDALIA.com. I hit enter. And it takes you to Fine Art America. And I have collections. My collections would be, I got to figure out how to put pictures in these, but I have the pareidolia stuff. I've got 2 pictures on there right now, but you can pick a picture. You pick what you want it on. You can have acrylic, metal, poster, a frame print, and one important thing is pick the size. You don't want one the size of a photograph. Yeah, you know. So I get 20 by 13. I don't know if that is the size of the print or the size of the frame. No, it's print size. So the print's 20 by 13, and then it's got 2 inches all the way around. So it's really 24 by, so it's 2 feet across the frame. But yeah. Oh. Oh. Play their music and okay. So you get an idea. Oh, okay. Stop share. I see what's going on here. Report. Pornography. You post sex stuff, I'm reporting it as pornography. These bots, they don't care. Report. Pornography explicit. There you go. Bye-bye. Your stuff's gone. Oh, photos of your sister. Well, you can keep those. We're not interested. Report. Pornography. Boop. Okay. Davy B. Davy B, you don't listen good. You do not listen good. Remember Forrest was saying, well, you could, he could sell off 1 coin at a time and the only thing anybody would catch was the big coins. Well, after that, he came up with this other plan to unload it and give the solver the cash for the proceeds from the auction. If you don't have the treasure, other searchers can't prove that the money came from the treasure. It's going to come from stardom, from being on TV. Oh, they could, like you were saying, them movies, them old stars and singers and stuff. They didn't do it on their own. Somebody put them where they were. You could give them $250,000 and they'll make you a star. And also, you got to remember, Forrest said there was something I could not fit in the chest. Something that doesn't fit in the chest is bigger than the chest. And in being bigger than the chest, it's worth a hell of a lot more. That makes the chest like, yeah, okay, it's a little sacrifice. You know, sometimes you got to sacrifice the gold to achieve your goal. And the dimensions are listed on the webpage. Which way? You get the chest bill if it's at the auction and owned by Davey B. You're just closed-minded. I'm sorry. I'm not a brain surgeon. I can't open your mind. I can't make you listen. I can't make you understand. The only way you can understand is to try and understand instead of rejecting everything that I say because of your bigotry toward me. Period. You're a jealous bigot. Bam. Stop being a jealous bigot. Stop your confirmation bias that you are the only right person. Because it's not my confirmation bias. You don't like my solution because you're biased to your confirmations while you ignore mine. Harrison Ford, Suzanne Summers, both in Ford Roadsters in American Graffiti. Harrison Ford, that Model A, was in almost all the movies. I'm waiting to see where it is. Dial of Destiny. Dial of Destiny. Okay. Forrest wanted his Indiana Jones replacement, his substitute, to call him on the phone, to dial his number and ring his bell. And then this movie's Dial of Destiny. You forget that I called Forrest Fenn on May 27th, 2020, 10 days before the find announcement. You don't want to accept anything I tell you, Davey B, because you got your head in your ass and you don't listen. And I'll block you again if I have to, because I don't like getting aggravated by trolls like you, Davey B. At least Mario listens a little bit. He still ain't got the chest car trove. Won't discuss that, and it's right in the middle of the freaking poem of his thing. Chest car trove. The R in trove, the E in they, I think it's they or there, and the C in chest line up. Chest, the C, the A in there. Or where it's, and then the R in trove. So you're tying the chest, you're marrying the chest and the trove with the car. The car ties the chest to the trove. Oh, it can't be the car. What the bug do you think Ralph Lauren is involved in this for? Was it for his neckties that Forrest won't wear? Or was it because Ralph Lauren has a trove of cars and Ralph, you can't take them with you? Now, keep being a stupid bastard if you like. Or listen good and hear me all. I want all within the sound of my voice to listen and to heed what I have to say, especially you, Mr. Gore. From my cold, dead hands, it's worth the cold. Mr. Gore Man, who has the same birthday as Al Gore, who went to the Battle of Shiloh field on Al Gore's birthday. And the reason all my numbers line up and everything is because of destiny. It's synchronicity. All these things are I look at, there's a 33 on my clock right now. My birthday's 3-3. The 33 is in my birthday. The 33rd degree of masonry. It's divine intervention, you stupid bastard. No, I created Al Gore. He's a creation. He's part of my fantasy. Life is just a fantasy. Can you live this fantasy life? Everything is created by thought. You have to think of doing something before you do it. You don't just do something without thinking about doing it. Everything comes from your thought. Even your erection and your ejaculation comes from your thought. My Rogers Rangers is RR. I have an ancestor. It was Samuel Rutherford, who wrote Lex Rex, that the King and His Beauty, and that the king was that we are all that the king is not God. He doesn't have rights over people. Thanks, MJ. He's gone stark raving mad. No. You know, Mel Gibson did a movie called The Passion. If you didn't have some passion, you were not going to figure this out. You had to put all your heart in it and all your belief in it and everything, all your confidence in it that you can do this. If you didn't do that, you lost. So you want to talk about that type of thing? What was it she said? Moist your eyes. Stark raving mad. No. You can have a passion. I don't have any passion for anything. I just I'm going to do some more heroin because I have no passion for anything. No. You're somebody, a man of character. You know, look at all this stuff. Oh, I don't know if I can talk about some of this stuff. Some of the stuff, the Epstein case, there are people that like in Barbara's lawsuit, that entered themselves into it. There are people that know that they're on the list, that know that there's video of them that intervened in the Epstein case and revealed themselves. And I saw this video. I was like, oh my god, that must be somebody closely related to the Secretary of Health. It was the same type of person, you know. What does it say in the Bible? You speak the words of God, and like Forrest, it wrote itself. The words just come. Yeah, and I watch this show about, you know, you see about the failures of some people that were like brought into like the cooking shows and stuff, and that started in the 90s and stuff. And they had this redhead dude, and he was like as bad or worse than Harvey Weinstein, the way he treated women. And if they get you to one of those, you know, promote you to something like that, you don't go blowing it by mistreating women. You show respect, or you get kicked out. You know, no, you can't. You can't be slipping your hand down their pants and grabbing their butt. No, you can't be doing that. But my goal is, I just need one woman. I don't need another. And if I got one woman, all the other women are like men. Then I'm not interested in them. I told one girlfriend, why would I want two girlfriends? One's enough trouble. Yeah, it was, you know, and I've turned down one relationship. It's like that would cause me too much drama. I don't care for being accused of things that haven't happened, that are just in the imagination. And no matter what I say, no, I mean, you were there. How could you say that? You know, it's like, it just comes out of, no, I don't know what happened to your cat. I don't believe Forrest Fenn took it. If you lost it at a campground, it probably got in them people's RV and got trapped in there, and they drove off with it. Period. Not much you can do about it. Cats do that thing. My cousin's widow, she posted on Facebook that her cat disappeared, and they found it like a week and a half later, like 12 blocks away or something, you know, on the other side of the freeway and everything. Didn't know how it got there. And I said, it was probably in your car when you went over there sometime. And yeah, because it had to have its tail amputated and go to the vet, and because he got some injuries from the car ride. And the auto mechanic found the fur underneath her car. So they say, start your car. If you got cats around, and start your car, sit there, give them some time to wake up and get out of there before you take off. And maybe even go out there and don't even start, just give it a click and then back off, and don't completely start it, because they might be sleeping in the fan belt or in the serpentine belt, and then they're done. Bill, is he out of jail? Who's out of who out of jail? Who out of jail? Who's asked? MJ? Let me see. Red X. Rednecks ain't in jail. There were some people that I seen them saying things on streets when they're on your channel, kiss my ass, kiss your ass very much, kiss your ass very much. And they go on Street's ass. No, they don't. No, they forget all about when I'm on Bill's, I kiss his ass. When I'm Street's channel, I kiss it. And I don't like two-faced people like that. That just don't go over with me. Jason had that problem. If you're buddy with people that call me the vile things that those people were calling me and stuff and accusing me of the shit, when he blocked me, I called them out, and then I'm in trouble for calling him out, and then it and he's fuck yourself, I don't give a shit about it, and then they'll have on there that we can't say anybody's wrong except for Bill Garman, and I'm like, double blazes, POSs, double blazes, Hip Steve, yeah. Only people who realize that the blaze. Oh my God. CGD, Mr. Holy Spirit. Who was Moses? You have a Christian bias against Judaism. And I guess against Islam, because Moses is part of the Islamic Quran. Spiritual is not religious. Religious is organized. It's a group. It's this mass of people that all claim to believe the same thing, except they're at each other's throats. There are Christians that believe Jesus died so I could sin. I can sin all I want because he's going to forgive me in the end. Those Christians, there are a lot. My ex's ex-husband in Oregon, that guy, he was the biggest narcissist like that. He threatened me with a knife and said, I'm on her. She's divorced from him, and he comes over and he's threatening me with a knife. We call the sheriff. He puts the knife away and makes his excuses and stuff, and it's like he's playing. I could see the race card being played real hard. I got a lot of friends in Mexico. I have more fans in Mexico than I have fans on YouTube. Who spoke to Moses? God did. Where was he? At the burning bush. I don't know. How could that be the place? How could a burning bush be the place? I didn't see the fire coming out the exhaust pipes of that roadster. My God. You guys got to open it. You can't keep your head in your ass and understand. The Spirit, our Creator, resides in all face. You know what? Without the Spirit Creator, you would be a pile of dust. In other words, you're just a bunch of material dust. And what runs you? The Spirit, the Creator, runs you. It's like you are a taste bud on God's tongue. That's all we are. You don't know the connection beyond that. You're doing your job, but you can't see beyond that tongue. into the brain. Yeah, I'm just a sensor out here. Fish, yum. French fries. Yeah, I like ketchup on it, please. You know, the taste bud. Prayer for form tonight. Yeah. Jack. Jack is my dog. Forrest Fenn, 2019 Fenbury, said to me. He didn't ask me. He said to me, I need to know your dog's name. That's not a question. He let me know he needed to know my dog's name. Why? Oh, because Jack came along. Okay. And in this movie, Journey to Shiloh War, my war for me, Shiloh War, Shiloh, Tennessee. One of his Fenn's relatives wrote stories about the Battle of Shiloh. Probably another relative fought there. I don't know. There was a lot of people killed there. I was writing a movie script about my great-great-grandfather and the Screaming Eagle. And there we go. You know, Doug, let's get Linda to do my Screaming Eagle script. We need to work on it a little bit, but you know, we get that going. Who cares about the treasure? Who cares about the treasure if I could sell my movie script? You know, because I got some really good stories in there. Because when you see, the Battle of Shiloh was almost when my great-great-grandfather showed up and stuff, but the only female officer in the Civil War was there. Belle Reynolds, Major Belle Reynolds, and the governor of Illinois made her a major. He said, "What's your husband's rank?" "Oh, he's a captain." "Oh, well, you're going to be a major." So he made her a major. She had there's a picture of her on her horse, and she's like way up here, and her husband's on this little horse. Because she outranked him. You know. So I have this woman in the script, and I have another story in the script about this slave. I'll get this up on the screen. The slave story, because when I watched this Shiloh movie, Return to Shiloh, there was a slave, and these 7 guys from Texas couldn't understand. Oh, well, he said if they bring him to the sheriff, that the sheriff will whip him a little bit, and they'll send him back to his plantation. And the guy said, "They're going to hang me. This is my 3rd time," and they hung him. And then the guy said, "Oh, they actually did hang." That guy lied to us. He told us they weren't going to do that. You know? So they learn, you can't trust what people tell you. I got like 20 different branches of my family, folders for each, you know, because you're like, my dad's mother wasn't a Gorman. My mother wasn't a Gorman. So there's a lot. Every generation, you double your ancestors every generation. And if you do that, 80 generations, say you got a generation every 25 years. That would be 80 generations to the year 0. And if you took yourself, doubled that, your 2 parents, doubled that, your 4 great grandparents, doubled that, your 8 great grandparents, doubled that, you have 16 great great grandparents. And each time it's doubled. You do that 80 times, and it's trillions or more than trillions. And no way there were that many people on the earth 2,000 years ago. And so what happens is my dad's father and his mother were ninth cousins. I found where it comes back together. They were ninth cousins and didn't know it. They were both descended from John Hopkins. John Hopkins. Isn't that a school or a university or medical facility? John Hopkins University. Yeah, it's a university. But he's a pilgrim, and I had other sayings that I'm related to Chevy Chase because William Chase came in 1620 or what. He was a pilgrim. They settled there on Cape Cod. What's the name? Essex or it's south of Dennis on the Yarmouth, I think. Yeah, he's in Yarmouth. But and my other ancestors, Avery, the Avery label, Avery Point in Groton, Connecticut, the Groton fishermen, the Avery Point there. That's one of my ancestors, but he's related to Major General Robert Sedgwick, who captured Port Royal from the French and allowed the pirates to come into port as long as they didn't raid English ships. And he ordered the construction of Kingston, Jamaica. That was an ancestor of mine. He's buried on Spanish Hill in Jamaica. I think if I took a trip I'm looking at, I might just do that. I might take me a trip down to Kingston and see if I could find my ancestors. I think it's inside a church on Spanish Hill. There's confusion, but I haven't been able to find a picture of it. It'd be neat to go there and find he's my ninth great grandfather was the governor of Jamaica. He knew all these pirates. and there's Noah Beery in a movie with Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford gets shot right between the eyes with a bullet, straight, right between the eyes. He was a target. He got shot in the head, just like JFK. The bullet. Okay, so let me see. So there. Page 1. We'll start with page 1. Story of Old Steve. And the 4th Wisconsin Cavalry. You see, I'm writing a movie about the 8th Wisconsin. And they were down here in the same area about the same time and stuff. And it's like the female major, she was in an Illinois company, while my ancestor was Wisconsin, from Packard Jack territory. The Greenbrush boys. So where was I going? Yeah, so when you're writing this, maybe you got a story because you want to add. You don't write a movie without some romance, And so I got my great grandfather. I've got it. He comes home, and that's when he meets my great grandmother, and they're married a few years later, and my great grandfather's born 10 years after that, after the Civil War. He was born in 1876, and we used to wrestle with him. We used to wrestle with my great grandfather born in 1876. Yeah. Him and my great grandmother was Rosa. Okay. So, oh, we got to go share this to see. Share that. Oh, okay. Okay. So it's old Steve. During the Civil War, my father served as volunteer in the Wisconsin Regiment. And in his 4 years of service, he had many interesting experiences, and some were very exciting ones. Besides having gained quite a stock of incidents from the experiences of others, all of which he enjoys relating to and who wish to hear them. One of the most interesting of these stories was that of two fugitive slaves who reached the Union camp on one of the first days of June in 1862, one of whom told father the story of their escape soon after. A day or two after the arrival of the Union troops, including the Fourth Wisconsin Regiment, see, somebody wrote in Fourth there. They didn't know. They were adding a note that it was the Fourth. So it could have been they went to, they didn't just send one regiment. At Baton Rouge. My great-grandfather did fight in Baton Rouge. He was in the Red River campaign. Whether they had been sent by General Butler a few weeks after the capture of New Orleans, and while they were still encamped on the bank of the Mississippi River near that city, the Laurel Hill, a steamboat which had been owned by the planters living along the river near Baton Rouge, but which had been captured by the Union gunboats, was sent to the plantation of one of her former owners on the opposite side of the river, a few miles above the city, for a supply of fuel, wood. The owner of this plantation, John Jay, was a strong secessionist and cordially hated as well as feared the Yankees, as the Federal soldiers were called. So when the steamer, which he knew to be in their possession, was seen approaching his landing, he hurriedly ordered all his slaves to run to the cypress swamp in the rear of the plantation and hide. He himself setting them a lively example. Most of the slaves, who had been told all kinds of stories about the Yankees in which they were described, are terrible monsters. In fact, almost anything but human beings readily obeyed his commands. But one old, I don't know if I can read that, one old slave, known as Old Steve, was curious to see what Yankees really did look like. And wasn't that was basically in this movie with Harrison Ford and Noah Beery. Forrest mentioned Noah Beery, mentioned Harrison Ford, Miss Ford, Harrison Ford, the Ford car, boom, boom, boom. He's talking about the Ford car. So, but in the movie, these guys from Tech, 7 guys from Tech, we'd never seen them. But sadly unsuccessful. Okay. So he remained behind, and another darky, a friend of his, stayed with him. Now, I just read that. I'm reading that. It's not it's a quote. Old Steve was a large, if they call me Whitey, what the, Old Steve was a large, powerful man, over 6 feet tall and broad-shouldered and solidly built in proportion, almost perfect specimen of physical development. He had passed his boyhood amid the wilds of Africa and had been brought to America when a young man of about 20 years of age. Since then, for nearly or quite 30 years, he had been only a piece of property of the hands of his fellow man, and for several years had been owned by his present master, Jay. by whom he had been raised to the position of head plowman on the plantation. He was always faithful and prompt, and during his long servitude, he had never been whipped. There was still within him a slumbering spark of manhood, which all those years of slavery had failed to quench. In spite of his advanced age and the hardships, so he's got to be around 50. If he came over when he was 20 and about 30 years later, okay, the hardships he had undergone, he seemed a little beyond the prime of life. His muscles were still hard as iron, and he was still active and energetic, not lazy and indolent, and were so many of the Southern slaves. When the boat, you can read, when the boat tied up at the landing, he and his friend Charlie walked rapidly from the house down to the river and went fearlessly aboard. They talked freely with the soldiers who were on the boat, and with some slaves they found there whom they happened to know. They found that the despised Yankees were not such hideous beings as they had been led to believe, but just ordinary mortals such as they had been used to seeing. After the fuel had been loaded and the boat was prepared to leave the landing, the two slaves went ashore and started back to their work as quietly and orderly, and nothing had happened. They had no misgivings about their disobedience, and their master, thinking that as long as the opportunity had presented itself and they had not deserted him, he would, that's what they thought. They thought that their master would overlook it, or at least let it pass with only a slight reprimand. Their master, however, had no such thought. When they reached the house, they found him there waiting for them in anything but a pleasant mood. Why didn't you go to the swamp as I told you to, and hide? Were almost his first words. I wanted to see what the Yankees look like, said old Steve, and I thought there wouldn't be no harm in it. I thought of old Steve could say, I done stay too, said Charlie. Charlie, I just went along with Steve. Yeah. I'll show you. There is harm in not minding me when I tell you to do a thing, thundered their angry master. I'll show you what the Yankees look like. I'll whip every bit of the back of the black hide from your backs. If you does, master, answered old Steve, speaking slowly and quietly, but very firmly yet. I'll be the first time and the last time you ever licks my ass. I'll go to the Yankees and stay with him. What? Shouted Jay. You dare defy me? Go to the Yankees? Will you? I'll teach you to talk that way to me. I'll take that notion out of you. I'll conquer you. I'll kill you. One of Jay's slaves had been hung only a short time before for striking his master, and that too after the courts of justice had refused to sentence the offender. This all the darkies knew, but if Jay expected to cow his slaves into abject submission by his threats, he was badly mistaken. The slumbering spark of manhood in old Steve's soul was famed into a flame, and he stood cool and collected in his abuse, and set in his face, showing desperate determination, while Charlie stood in silence, ready to take the consequences with him. Whatever they were, the first lesson the poor fellows got was 50 lashes upon the bare back with the plantation whip. This consisted of a leather strap, some 3 feet long, 2.5 inches wide, fastened to a handle 9 or 10 inches long. The 2 straps punched full of holes, each about 1/2 inch in diameter. Instead of being slit into separate lashes, as was with such whips, this was considered the harshest kind of a whip, as after each stroke, the position of every hole was marked by a blister, while the edges of the strap everywhere cut and tore the flesh. 50 lashes on the bare flesh with such an instrument would literally flay the back of the unfortunate person receiving them. The poor fellow stood like men and received the blows without flinching, without increased, which only increased their master's rage. What, he yelled, "You won't give up yet? Well, you come to it before long. You'll want to keep away from the Yankees when I get through with you. If you're ever alive at all, I will kill you before I'll ever let you get to them anyhow." They were then handcuffed, and old Steve, being the leader and distinguished by having an iron collar placed around his neck. The collar was made of 1/2 inch iron rod, and riveted on either side of the collar was a riveted spike about 4 inches long and half an inch square, so arranged that one of the spikes stuck up behind each ear and held the head as in a vice. Any attempt to turn the head ever so slightly resulted in a prod from one of these spikes. They were taken to the calaboose and locked up there with their feet in the stocks. The calaboose, or slave jail, as it I have to call it slave jail. I'm not allowed to say that. As it was sometimes called, like those common in that part of the country at that time, was a solid brick structure, 16 feet square and 18 feet high, having a heavy door and one small round window, some 18 inches in diameter, which was placed 12 feet above the ground. This window was not barred. Its height was thought to be sufficient to prevent any attempt to escape that way. So there's a window up above in this slave jail. It's, a small square building with a tall, high roof, and the only way out's a window, and they're shackled to the floor, And I got to let Jack in, and I'll read the rest of this. Continue this. There. Come on, Jack. Come on, Jack. Get in here. One treat. You silly dog. All you gotta do is rattle some paper, and he thinks I'm getting a treat out. But I got one here for you. Come here and shake my hand. Give me a shake. There you go. Good boy. No. I gotta get. Okay. The stocks were made of heavy timbers and were placed about 2 feet from the ground. So that the unfortunate prisoner was compelled to lie flat on his back on the earth, which formed the floor of the calaboose. While his ankles were held in nearly horizontal position, 2 feet above him, it can be readily seen that very little change of position was possible under the circumstances. They're shackled to the floor. Imagine the suffering of these two poor fellows lying there through all those long hours with every attempt at the slightest change of position, grinding the sand and dirt into their bruised and bleeding backs. But instead of conquering them, this treatment only fixed the firmer in the mind of old Steve, at least. The determination to escape, his manhood had never been degraded by the lash before, and he was determined to never, it should never be again. He was certain that if he could only make his escape and reach the Union lines, he would be protected and allowed his freedom at the least. The truth is, Jay was furious at the Federal soldiers for confiscating his boat and his wood and coal. And like many another angry man, he foolishly allowed himself to vent his rage upon the first ones who came in his way, who happened to be, unfortunately for them, to be his slaves. They felt that he had been needlessly and unusually cruel to them, and the nearness of the Yankees, who were looked upon by all the slaves as their emancipators, took them recent in as they would otherwise never have dared to. Their master had no sooner turned the key in their prison door, therefore, and old Steve began to work for his freedom. The handcuffs which his wrists were connected by a single link, and he commenced to twisting and grinding at that link with all his might. And the little strain he was able to put upon it wore at the link, and he patiently set himself to work to wear it out. What a task it was, but the only hope of escape was, and he worked away as only a man can work when his life is prize or death the forfeit. His life is his prize and death is the forfeit. Hour after hour dragged slowly by the silence, broken only by the ceaseless grind of the handcuffs as they were patently wrenched and twisted by those sturdy arms. The man's hands were swollen and stiffened by the continued strain, and he did not heed it. And at length discovered his efforts were telling on his fetters. This gave him fresh courage, and he worked away with renewed energy till at least about 3 o'clock in the morning, the link parted. So he got out of his handcuffs. Grouping around in the darkness, his hand soon touched a stout stick, which fortunately for him was laying within his reach. This he managed to work into the padlock on the hasp and fasten the stocks so as to enable him to pry out of the staple. So I don't know, he's laying on his back or he's in a one of them shackle things, you know, you put your head in. I don't know which one I think he's laying on his back, but it was then an easy matter to lift the upper timbers enough to set himself and his comrade free. They stood up, breathing a little more freely, but they were still in a desperate situation. For, as was said before, the window was 12 feet high, and a very small one at that, while the door was strongly locked and bolted. Besides, Jay, fearing that some of the slaves might attempt to set the prisoners free, had hired 2 poor white men, poor white trash they were called, to stand guard over them. And it seemed strange they had not already heard enough to induce them to investigate. A few days before old Steve might have looked up upon any effort to escape as hopeless and submitted it without a protest. His comrade, Charlie, certainly would, but the last few hours had transformed him from a docile slave into every inch of a man, one who was ready to play a man's part and who could make a valiant fight to gain his liberty. Charlie would now stand by him and knew, indeed, they had already gone too far to turn back. Discovery and recapture meant death, and they both realized it. With the help of one of the timbers, which they pried loose from the stalks, they climbed up to the window and looked out. Everything was quite quiet in the first gray light of early dawn. They somehow managed to spite off being encumbered, the one which with the handcuffs, the other with that horrible iron collar around his neck, to climb through the window and lower themselves safely to the ground. A hasty glance around assured them that their safety and explained why they had not before been interrupted by making their guards were both fast asleep, and an empty whiskey bottle laying near them showed that they were not likely to awaken very soon. They were sleeping good. Jay had thought it necessary to fortify the courage of his guards, who were ignorant and superstitious fellows, with a bottle of whiskey, and it had its legitimate effect. Hurrying down the bank of the river, half a mile or so below the plantation building, they drew out an old canoe in which the slaves of the plantation were in the habit of making stolen visits to the city, and cleared the mud and water out of it. Old Steve then knocked from the fence nearby 2 cypress pickets, which would do very well for paddles. They didn't have a paddle. Well, they found some. They got one up their creek. In the absence of anything better, he gave one of the pickets to Charlie, and together they entered the canoe and pushed off toward the city. It was a long, hard pull, but they had the help of current and many good time in spite of their difficulties. They landed safely, and just as the sun was peeping above the eastern horizon, they entered the camp of the Union troops of Baton Rouge. Here they were once taken in charge by the soldiers of the Guard, where they first reached the lines, who belonged to the Wisconsin 4th Regiment. The news of their arrival spread rapidly through the regiment, and the fugitives became the center of the interested and symbolistic group. Old Steve, on account of the collar and the broken handcuffs he wore, was the chief object of their sympathy. Some of the soldiers hastened after tools which to remove the shackles and set the poor fellows free, while others took the fugitives at once to their colonel to show him just how they had been treated. Then the rivets which fastened old Steve's collar were filed off, and he was freed from that. After which each of the men was relieved of his handcuffs. So maybe Steve only got one of his handcuffs off, and he still had to. Okay, so yeah, he got one off, then he got okay. And Charlie were at once set to cooking for the soldiers, and before long, old Steve found himself cooking for Company I or Company T. I don't know. It looks like there's it's Okay, there was nothing about Charlie to arouse special interest in him, and he was soon lost sight. He was soon lost sight of among the hundreds of slaves who had now flocked into the camp. But the same qualities that had helped old Steve out in the calaboose, strength and indomitable pluck and perseverance, kept him an object of interest to the soldiers. Father at that time, commissary of Company T, or I don't know which it is. Maybe the T is underlined. And saw which of old Steve was next for the next few months. He found him naturally bright, capable, and very ambitious. He could not read a word, but in spite of his advanced age, he somewhere obtained the old Webster's spelling book and went to work to learn. Every moment he could spare from his duties, he spent in study, getting help from one and another of the soldiers, and he was already making rapid progress considering the opportunities. When General Rutler's first enlistment of colored troops took place, then he stopped cooking for soldiers in order to become one himself. He had seen that the war was to bring freedom to the slaves if they were to get it at all. And there was that within him which compelled him to take an active part on the great conflict. He could not rest contented and leave what he felt, where his battles to be fought entirely by others. He would at least offer his life for the liberty of his oppressed race as freely as did many who had less to gain or lose than had he. Father lost all knowledge of old Steve after he enlisted and never learned what became of him, but the old iron collar which he wore into the camp at Baton Rouge on that bright June morning was carefully preserved among the war relics, sent home by the regiment, and may now be seen in the Capitol Museum in Madison. Put it up there next to old Abe. That's a great story. I don't care what you say, that's a great story. Get my screen back on. Oh, these people. Anybody see any of my moderators? If you see the porn stuff, just click on the thing and report pornography, report. Okay, report. I get rid of them, and I get YouTube up their butt. Ignore David. Yeah. He's about to get blocked again. Cheekbone piece. You know, splash your color down there. Your colors. Our colors up here, red, white, and blue. I think you probably have red, white, blue in your flag too. But sorry, you're upside down. Smoking Joe. Yes, I Plato talks about Atlantis, that Atlantis had a large rectangular valley surrounded by high mountains covered with crystals, and it had lots of elephants and plenty of grasses to feed them all. That's describing the San Luis Valley. large rectangular valley surrounded by high mountains covered with crystals. Sangre de Cristos and the San Juans on the other side. And yeah. And I got the coffee has amaretto in it. Yes, I found that mammoth sculptures, packs on the mammoth's backs. I found art that shows a mammoth putting people in a canoe. And this is where they would take the canoes and the people and put them on the mammoth, and it would take them over to the San Juan River. I never heard about that on Discovery Channel. You don't know what you're talking about. It will be on Discovery one day. Being ignorant and stupid and bigoted. Bigoted means you don't like me and you don't like my solution, but you're trolling me here being an asshole. And I'll call you out for being an asshole if you troll me here. That's what your problem is. I call out assholes. I'm not afraid to call out an asshole. How come the chat stopped? Somebody, I refreshed the page. I bet it didn't stop. Report. 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 Okay. Report. Report. Got rid of them. Okay, so there was some. Now, why are things repeating on the chat? Why ain't the chat running? Anybody here? Did everybody check out for that story? Really? No heart. You're not talking about silver and gold. We have cold fever. Unless you're talking about silver and gold, we're out of here. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. How many? 26. Let me see something else here. Yeah. I got no invitation. No invitation. Hey, Bill. Just me, time I see seems to be getting a little deeper than expected. Maybe take a step back and smile. Yeah, more than I know. You got these people coming on here. If you're the real solver, and people are coming on here, oh, it's being sold and it's being parted out, and it ain't yours, and you're being attacked. I have faith that Forrest Fenn was going to make it work right. If I had some reassurance from Team Fenn, I could go away, I could shut up, I could put all my videos on private. But no reassurance. You have to go on your confidence. And my confidence is strong, or I would have been out of here. Doug Preston. His one quote, one thing he said that really tells me that this treatment is intentional. Doug Preston says, I seen it in more than one interview, I like to push my characters to their limits. You know? And then, okay, I found the magic bullet. But I always wondered something about, I thought Forrest wanted somebody to put him out of his misery. But that's one of the possibilities only. You know, you don't go so far to go, oh, that's what, like some people that are probably in jail would do. according to some other searchers, they said, yeah, that's what Mitch got a room, I guess. He got a room at the county hotel or whatever. I don't know. That's what Street was pointing out. But yeah, Street's come on in here. We're gonna insult you. We can't say anybody's wrong except for you, Gorman. Yeah. Him and his Oragel. I think any woman, hey, I got some Oragel. And she, what? She says, like that, just put your cocaine on it, Street. Sucker born every minute, huh? Oh. Mm-hmm. Come one, come all, come to the greatest show on earth, the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, and introducing our clown, P.T. Barnum. I got home videos of the circus when I was a kid. We went to the circus. My mother had a new camera, a new Super 8 camera that had like 4 lenses on it. And you could, so you could do wide angle, medium, or zoom in, you know? And she took it to the local circus in Fremont, where it was a field. They're all buildings there now. Yeah. I don't know if where is TP Man? I found him because he's been he should be in my chat. I was just talking to him, and if I, you know what I'm going to do? I am going to I will find out who is blocking TP Man, and they're going to lose their moderator thing. I'm going to go find that. Where's TP Man's studio? Because I see he was blocked 3 times. I never blocked him. Another moderator blocked him. And if somebody's blocking him, it's because he agrees with me. And they don't want him let me know that he knows that it's mine. And so then we look at who are the other moderators who are in on silencing anybody that agrees with me. I think you know who you are. Oh, I think I did see something in there. Where'd it go? Oh. So, you're not blocking him, are you? Oh, there's Smoking Joe. kick ass and take names. Yeah. Here we get you to. I'll give you a shield there. You got a shield, Smoking Joe. Like John. That's how I keep moderators from blocking moderators, from blocking people that I don't want blocked. You're either a moderator because I want you for a moderator, or you're a moderator because I'm protecting you from others. Yeah. Yeah, I went in there and I went to my block. Who's blocked on my? I didn't block him, but I blocked somebody else who kept coming with different name, and I kept blocking him. Could have been somebody who was using his name or trying to. Not a fact checker. You a fact checker? Those yep. Yeah. Well, somehow I think Davey started a new channel because I had Davey blocked. And so he went and opened another channel so he could get in here. And it's like, if you don't believe me, what the hell are you doing here? I don't know if there's anybody in here want to come in, say so in the chat, and I'll put the link up. But I want to have a rule. I don't have guests that disagree with me. I have guests who back me up. You can deny everything there is. It doesn't mean you're right. That's what I mean. See, Davey's he's coming in with a second account. And Mario refuses to bring up chest, car, trove. The C in chest is the C in car. There's an A below it, and it goes to the R in trove. And you're marrying clues. You marry the chest and the trove. You marry the warm water and the high water, and so on. I have to write, I'm picking it out of my head. I'm not going over notes, But I have a screenplay that I wrote that includes the slave story that I read. With it's about the war eagle, and my great grandfather brought the eagle the Civil War. My great grandfather went in when he was 15, and like a day after his 18th birthday, he got shot through the left arm. Broke his left arm, entered with a 50 caliber mini ball. The same thing that Willie got killed right between the eyes. Harrison Ford got killed with a mini ball between the eyes. My great grandfather got shot through the left arm, and here Willie was a Confederate. My great grandfather was, and they were in the same battle, right? But my great he got shot. It went through his left arm, broke his arm, entered his left shoulder, and it exited out through his right shoulder. So it missed his air pipe, his esophagus, his arteries in his neck, and all the vitals going from one shoulder and out the other shoulder with a bullet bigger than a 50 caliber. They ain't a 50 caliber, 58 caliber mini ball. Let's go. It's not you. Guaranteed. And if you ain't got a clue, Freakies, I think, have some ice cream kush. Freakies. That's one of the dispensaries, ain't it? They got dispensaries down in New Mexico yet? I'm at work trying to find a dead short in a wiring harness. Do you have one of them? You know, I have because I did telephone stuff and I was a telecommunications engineer. I got one of the things you clip on the wires and it puts a signal on the wire and you got another you can trace that wire and you go until it stops and you know it's somewhere there. But it's probably dead short to ground. So you probably got to disconnect some connectors so you can get an open in it and test the wires between 2 points. Yeah, I've got it solved. No, I got the bullet. Okay, Indiana Jones. Guy whips out a freaking sword. Whoop, 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 whoop. Indiana Jones. Bullet, dead. I win. Guy with the bullet wins. Harrison Ford had the Ford Roadster in American Graffiti. Suzanne Summers had the Ford T-Bird. Little Deuce Coupe, and Daddy takes the T-Bird away in one movie. This is where you get the synchronicities of the chase, you know? It's coming back. Yeah, John, if you ever work on a Fiero, sometimes they run good when you first start them. You're going down the highway, 15 miles down the road. The Fiero, the computer is in the firewall between the seats, and so the wire harness from the engine plugs into the back of that, into the computer, but it's not airtight. You take the sunroof off, it creates a vacuum in the passenger compartment, and then it sucks heat off the exhaust of the engine through the ECM. It overheats the ECM and things start misfiring and the car dies. So you have to let it. So if you got a Fiero that good and just let it cool off, start it up. And if you're driving, the way to keep that from happening, if you have the sunroof off, you got to have the windows down some to stop the vacuum from sucking hot air out of the engine. The circuit. They had circuit overheating issues. Yeah. Well, it was because of the sunroof sucking the passenger compartment's a vacuum, and it sucks the heat out of the engine compartment and the passenger compartment, and it'll give you carbon monoxide poisoning. That's why I felt driving across Salt Lake Desert. My eyes were burning, and I didn't know what it was. It was because that exhaust getting sucked into the passenger compartment. Well, offered a good solve. No, you didn't have a good solve, baby. The warm waters when he killed the bird, meadowlark. He shot the meadowlark, and it killed the bird, and the bird's warm water halted. His blood halted pumping. and then it ended when Forrest Fenn's blood stopped pumping when he died. He had intended for from my cold dead hands. Stoof was on the scene before Forrest was dead. He could not be the finder because Forrest told us he was taking it to the grave with him. He was taking it to heaven with him. Oh, I missed whatever it was, MJ. I was looking down. If I'm looking here, I'm not looking at the chat over there. News is it's easy to find. His address is posted all over the internet. Who? Whose address? Whose address are you looking for? My address? My address is in my about. My mailing address is in my about. Post Office Box 191, Alamosa, 81101. I know about. I thought you shaved it, Paul. Yeah, we've seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Paul. We've seen that. I used to work at Gemco. Would Mrs. Bendover and Mr. See How It Feels please come to customer service desk? There'd be people who call it, and actually, yeah, you know, back in those days. And when I was a kid, we used to go cruising. I lived in Fremont, and Fremont Boulevard, like 10 miles of Fremont Boulevard, you go from one Jack in the Box to the other Jack in the Box. You turn around and go the other way. But later on, it ended. It went to where it was just the Centerville part of Fremont. They came on the Mayflower, and they came with Captain Smith. And my mother's side came in 1880 from England, Scotland, and Austria. You know, Austria, where Arnold comes from. My cousin Arnold. Really, my DNA thing, my National Geographic DNA. Oh, you got Tesla DNA. You're related to Tesla. Yeah, but it showed it on my mother's side. It was my father's side, and it was my mother's side that came from there. But you know, when you do them DNA tests, your maternal side, it shows you is your mother and her mother, her mother, her mother, her mother, her mother, her mother, mother. None of the fathers on that side are included. And then none of the father's mothers are either, because it's only the direct mother line that requires. And then on the male DNA side, it's your father. So like the Native American blood don't show up because it's my father's mother's side that has the Native American blood. And so if they're testing, my paternal DNA doesn't, because I only got my father's DNA on my paternal DNA, which doesn't include his mother or his father's mother or his grandfather's mother. You know, it doesn't include those. So you can't go solely on a DNA test to say, oh, you don't have any native blood in you. My great grandfather tore the pages out of the family Bible that showed that we're part Cherokee, because he was ashamed to be part Native American. Harrison Ford decided to take drama acting classes to get over his shyness. He took it's an look at Harrison Ford IMDb, or no, Harrison Ford's Wikipedia. It tells you that he was so shy that he took drama classes to get over his shyness. Harrison Ford is a shy guy. So is Eric Sloan. He's a man from the East. Harrison Ford, Model A's, Indiana Jones, Model A's, American Graffiti, Model A, Model B. Well, it's a 32 Ford chop deuce coupe. I think they're, yeah, I think that was a 5 window though. Italian blood running through these things. Hey, Joe. Hey, I was thinking, just as a fictional thing, it'd be nice if somebody could, somebody who knows, okay, we have this character and this character claiming to be the solver. All these people claiming to be the solver, I wonder what a judge's final opinion would be on the real solver. This person won't produce their solution to public, and therefore you're disqualified because nobody's going to hide their solution. I beat Superman, and the director, the director producer that for the documentary I'm in, not the interviewer. the interviewer, the guy that interviewed me for in the documentary, he did a show about the Amazing Superman. He did 2 Superman TV shows. Not the retriever. Yeah, Jack's not a retriever either. He's a cow dog. Hi, Jack. Where is he? Oh, it's getting warm in here again. Just put the heater on low. It was chilly. There wasn't enough. Ooh, hang on 1 second. I got to start the generator or we're going to be out of satellite. Yeah. You should see the back of my pajamas. The big old rip. I can't get my butt that high, but there's a big old rip. I got my boxers under them, so probably the same color. Wouldn't have seen it. Yeah, somebody thought I had got a new chair. I got this chair 6 months ago or whatever. I just had a coat hanging over it. You couldn't see the red because it squeaks on the wall. And this is an RV. I had to make a platform so I could have room to roll the chair, but there's still not enough room to roll the chair, and the wheels get stuck off the edges of the little platform I got it on. It needs I keep the shock thing as high as it goes, and now it's like, It's the chair wobbles and stuff. So I need the shock tower on it, the longest one, so that I can keep it at its lowest and don't extend it. Or they need a solid. If I could get a solid one, certainly, boom. Then I wouldn't have to worry about shock towers and things breaking. Possible. Raise right on. I swear that I solved this. I have the magic bullet. Nobody else has it. Oh, here, I did it wrong, Joe. I can do it right. I can do it right somewhere here. Eventually. Where is it? I got it here. I had it here. Huh. There it is. There we go, Joe. Here we go, Joe. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. How about you, Forrest? So help me God. And people think, Christians will think that they're the only ones that believe in God. Jews think they're the only ones that have a real God. It's all the same God. They just talk to him with a different letterhead. There's the universe is God, and we're all part of the magic universe. Thought. Here, there's Shiloh. Shiloh, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And let's go through this a little. You see, I got things in here. Those are all chase-related markers. And now Jack wants in. Oh. My coffee bag is burning in the teapot. Turn that off. It's coffee burning. So we'll go through that. I got to go through some of these. I need one with bigger. I don't know where you get them. This is from ordered online, and it's like this is the cheapest. I think it's printed in China. Yep. It's Chinese Bible. Okay. No paddle. 5. Where's 5? Oh, 2, 3. 1. Oh. Over here, 2. 3. My God, this is small. It's so tiny. 2, 3, 4. In whom she could never, she could no longer hide him. She took for him an ark of burnishes and dabbled in it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. Put in. Moses was put in the basket and then put in the river. No paddle up your creek. It was put in that basket without a paddle. Okay. That's Exodus 2:3. And then, okay. The blaze 3:2. Exodus 3:2. I need brighter light on this and make it easier to read. That's Moses. Nope. Okay. Oh yeah, that is 3:2. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. The blaze. And the clues are in the right order in the book, but not in the Bible. You're going to find them back and forth. Okay. Clue 12. Okay. So I have numbers on here. What order these clues go in? But I'm going through the book in that order. So go in peace. Exodus 4:18. 4:18. And Moses went and returned to Jethro, his father-in-law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moses, Go in peace. You got a bunch of heathens telling me I'm wrong. If you're telling me I'm wrong, you're not a Christian. You didn't read the Bible. You don't know the Bible. I did, my mother came from a Mormon family. My dad came from a Jehovah's Witness family. And we didn't go to church because of all the troubles those churches caused them. 10, Terry. 20, Exodus 24:14. And you see, Exodus, the high water was Genesis and Noah. High water halted. High warm water halts at the end of Exodus. When the water recedes and, the ark is on the land again and blah, blah, blah. That's when high water halts. Because you're marrying the waters, the warm and the high. 24:14. And this is for Terry. And he said unto the elders, Tarry ye here for us, until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. And any man have any master to do matters to do, let him come unto them. So tarry here and wait. So we're in the tarrying, we're waiting. 24:2 is gone alone. 1:4, gone alone. 24:2. I think right there. And Moses shall come near the Lord, but shall not come nigh. Neither shall the people go up with him. Leave your friend in the car. The car's his treasure anyhow. All right. Okay, now we go to clue 10 I have on here. Marvel. Exodus 34:10. 10. And he said, behold, I make a covenant. Forrest covets things. Behold, all thy people, I will do marvels. There's your covenants and your marvels. Such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among with shall see the work of the Lord, for it is a terrible thing that I will do to thee. So it is kind of a terrible thing Forrest is doing to me, right? Yeah. You're doing this terrible thing for us. It's terrible. It's time to end it. It's time to stop the childish game you're playing. You're not even here to enjoy it anymore, Forrest. Okay, heavy. Number 6 I have, heavy, is Exodus 11:14. If I am not able to hear all this people alone, because it is too heavy for me. Okay. 3, meek, Exodus 12:3. Now the man Moses was very meek above all men which were upon the face of the earth. Moses was the meekest man on earth. How did I get Moses out of the poem? If not for dumb people, I would not have succeeded. Kiwi. John put him below the home of brown. the Egyptians were the brown Egyptians, yes. Yep, about 30 feet. The end is ever drawing nigh. Don't come nigh. Leave your friends in the car. Don't bring them nigh. Not far, too far to walk is Exodus 14:34. Even after the Lord has commanded you by the hand of Moses, from that day the Lord commanded Moses henceforth among your generations. 14:34. Oh, that wasn't 34. No wonder it wasn't mentioned. 34. 14:34. And they put him in a ward, because it was not declared that which he be done to him. Am I in the right 14? No, that's 15. No wonder. I'm in the wrong 34 still. Okay, so too far to walk is after the number of days in which ye searched the land. Were you searching the land? Anybody else searching the land? Even 40 days, each day for a year, shall ye bear ye iniquities. Even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise. Forrest telling us he's going to breach his promise. So right now it looks that kind of that way, but you got to hope that he truly did mean well and come through with what he promised, and preserve his integrity, because his integrity, without a real solver, his integrity is jack. In more ways than one. 7, water high, is 28 through Exodus 20:8 through 13. Take the rod and gather thou the assembled together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water, and thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, and thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. And Moses took his rod before the Lord, and he commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together and before the rock, and he said unto them, hear now, ye rebels, hear me all, here must we fetch you water out of this rock. And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the rock came out abruptly, and the congregation drank, and their beast also. I think I got a little bit in that drink still. Not to 14 yet. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, because you believe not me to sacrifice me in the eyes of the children of the Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation unto land which I have given them. Somebody sent from Texas. This is the water of Meribah, because the children of Israel strove with the Lord, and his sanctified in them. And Moses sent messengers to Kadesh, and the king of Eden at Edom, and saith his brother Israel, thou knowest all the travel of his beloved. Okay, and then we got to go up here to the other, I think in Numbers. No, what time is it? 6:10. Scant treasure. 6:10. Micah. 6:10. Need a light. I gotta turn my heater off. It's getting way too hot in here. Are there yet the treasures of wickedness in the house of the wicked? Yes, the treasure is in the house of the wicked right now. That's for sure. Where was that? Wicked. And the scant measure that is abominable. Now, there's also the part about Moses walking for 40 years. When Forrest was shot down, 40 years later, he put out his book. God told Moses to write a book of your memories at the age of 80. And Forrest, at the age of 80, wrote a book of his memories after he had walked too far, 40 years from being shot down. He should have been dead then. And somebody put me out of my misery now. Okay, 7:22, wise in Acts. Acts 7:22 has wise. And Moses was learned in all the wisdom of Egyptians, and was mighty in words and deeds. And when he was 40 years old, it came to his heart to visit his brethren, children of Israel. So he started walking when he was 40. And when he was 80, he wrote the first 5 books of the Bible. The book of memories. God told him to write a book of your memories when he was 80. That's what Forrest did. He wrote a book of his memories. 28. We have 5 people that don't care about, like Street, Candy. We'll talk about religion, but we don't believe in God. Yes, he'll turn to dust one day, Street. Don't worry. Unless your faith is strong, that yeah, you're more mortal than. That rich. Those are subjective. As far as I know, Zoe goes to church regularly. Forrest went to her church chili cook-off, and there was the silver bullet, the silver thing, and Suzanne Summers' American Graffiti car. He knew everything about that T-bird. And Willie won the Willie was the best dog. Willie won the best dog at the chili cook-off. The 57 T-bird won best car. The silver thing car thing, that silver thing was the silver bullet. Fours. Yeah. Everyone goes to heaven. Punishment is human construct. Yeah, everybody's a philosopher. It's funny that you know, Eli Street and Candy, they trying to pretend like, I just discovered this. It's like, you know what? I knew that 20, 30, 40 years ago. They bring up stuff. I gave Forrest an emerald tablet. I think it was I mailed it to him. And I think he had, when I was at the Jamie drawing, I asked him if he got it, and he said he did. And he knew that it went with Thoth, the Egyptian, who in the Emerald Tablet says after Atlantis was destroyed, they went and built the pyramids in Egypt. So I found Thoth here, and I found Hyperion, and the parents of the Titans are here. It's Greek mythology about long before the Greeks. The Titans were not Greek. They were Atlantean. Because the parents of the mother of the Titans, Balasia, or whatever, Queen Balasia, she was the queen of Atlantis, and she is the mother of the Titans. Of Thor, she is Thor's mother. It was one of Thanksgiving. I would go whenever had Thanksgiving with day before Thanksgiving, because my kid had to work on Thanksgiving with my grandkids and stuff. And my granddaughter had a mark under her eye and a black eye. And I said, "What do you do? Hit yourself?" You know, no, Ace did it. Her little brother Ace. And are we playing cards? Because I got an ace up my sleeve. He's a smart little kid. I gave him a nice skateboard for his birthday. He just turned 7. Wow. No, he's a month after Forrest, so he's a Virgo. Come from summer, you are. Yeah, wait for this. Wait, that is incorrect. What's incorrect? You're incorrect. Oh, my stomach's growling at me. I did have breakfast today. It's probably getting about time for dinner. How long have I been on? It doesn't say. When I look at other channels, it says, oh, 2 hours ago. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of confirmation. And that movie, you want to see the movie, Journey to Shiloh War. It's on YouTube. It's free, and it's Harrison Ford And I mean, he's really young. This is before American Graffiti and all. So he's, 20, 19, real young in it. Correct. Damn, one long enough. Say, phone rang. Start over. Everyone goes to heaven. Wait, that is incorrect. The personification of Earth is a goddess of Norse mythology. She is the mother of thunder and sensual partner of Odin. So let me get this up on the screen, then. I get it up on the screen. Let's see. Bum, bum, bum. And I do a share screen. Okay. Basilia, queen, the first queen of legendary kingdom of Atlantis, ancient Greek folk tradition. Basilia, the eldest one of the most celebrated daughters of Uranus. Oh. Basilia was the first queen of the legendary kingdom of Atlantis, folk tradition. Basilia, the oldest and one of the most celebrated daughters of Uranus, who had 45 children by various wives, including Rhea and Pandora. Okay, so if she's from Atlantis and her father, Pandora, is one of her father's children, do you think Pandora's from Atlantis too? Yeah, Greek mythology is about Atlantis. Pandora, Basilia became known as the Great Mother due to the salacious way in which she cared for her younger brothers. After her father's death, she was elected Queen of Atlantis by popular vote. She married her brother Hyperion and had 2 children, Selene and Helios, who are the parents of the Titans. Selene is the son, respectively. However, her other brothers murdered Hyperion for fear that he might usurp the throne, and drowned Helios in the river at Eridius, part of Italy. Out of love for her brother, Selene committed suicide by jumping from a rooftop upon learning of the death of her children. Basilia went mad and wandered up and down with her hair disheveled and bedizzled in ornaments, playing wildly on the tremble and the cymbal. When the people of Atlantis tried to restrain her, she disappeared into a terrible lightning storm. In honor of Basilia and her children, divine rites were established. Basilia, often confused with Thera, is the more accepted mother of Selene and Helios, and in addition, Eros, the wife of Hyperion, is unsure whether or not they are the same figure. Basilia is also mentioned quite differently in other versions. She listed as a daughter of Quileos and Thera, and implied to be the mother of all gods, and is implied she is another version of Aphrodite, Roman Venus. And here I got my Close these. Wait a minute. Minimize, minimize, minimize. Good thing you didn't get a shot of that. Minimize, 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 minimize. And right here on the left side of the screen, on the left side is Queen Basilia, and this is Hyperion, and this with the halo is Helios. See the halo around it? And the AI got this out of one of my rocks. And you see the daughter is laying down here. So she's laying down across her father's lap. So he's got his dead children in his lap. She's there with her hand of God out here. And I found this on the canyon wall. It's like, that's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unbelievable. But that's what it is. That's what it is. It's amazing. It's amazing. And on Discovery Channel, when Atlantis is discovered, it will be the greatest discovery of all time. And I just saw a thing that they think that they found Cleopatra's tomb with Mark Antony and Cleopatra. It's west of Alexandria. I have to make more coffee if I want more coffee, because my coffee bag was burning. Steamed it all off. Oh, it's getting a good temperature in here now. I had to glue my wallet back together. Chinese wallet, and the materials were, you see here, that was all split apart, and I had to put glue in there. And I put these little paper clip thing, the square paper clips on it. You know, like the where's one of them? No, them gripper ones, clamp like paper clips. I thought I had one laying here. I guess not. Sometimes I have them sticking on the seat. I got things with magnets where there's metal strip. I had little cans with magnets. Like, you know, they're old pot gummy cans. I don't think this one has anything in it. Oh, there's no magnet in there. How was it sticking? Oh, the magnet's on the magnets on the rail. They have magnets on the metal strip that goes along the edge of the slide out. Or I put a magnet right in the can, and then the can will stick to the strip. But I'm getting hungry. I got to fix something to eat. And so let me check the chat here and see who's before I go. Whoop, where'd it go? Where's the other one? Here, there, everywhere. Pick me up a couple of Morgans. Yes, yeah. Color purple is royal. Yeah. Even seen Pandora's box. You did, huh? You got to go in there and see it, Joe? You know, kind of, I thought that's Monday. It only matters who they think you are, Joe. So Plato created the, it's all false. Nuzzo, you keep it up and you get blocked. You know, you just come here to be a negative troll. I just read it right off Wiki. which comes out of the, I mean, there are people like you in controlling Wiki too, and they wouldn't allow that to be there if it was so untrue as you put it. You have your own belief, and really, do you know if your daddy is your daddy? Throw a shrimp on the Barbie for, I have no shrimp. I do have, I have some little sirloins in the freezer. I'd probably just take one of them out and throw it on the griddle. Yeah. I just saw like smoke drift off of my coffee pot thing and everything's turned off over there. What the hell? Was that a ghost coming out of my stove? Let's see. Nuzo is street, yeah. Oh, he found he might get more attention if he uses a girl's picture, huh? Maybe you should try being tranny street. You might get some. That might just lodge his head further up. Okay, if you run home, Jack. Discovery of Atlantis, civilization older than Greece, and all that. It is the oldest civilization. It changes the birthplace of civilization from Europe, Asia to North America. That's opening Pandora's box when you got to rewrite all of history. You watch them gladiator shows, right? Does anybody ever win the gladiator show by being a pussyfoot? No. Pussyfoots don't win. People who, if you're trying to be politically correct, you don't win. Because you're letting that have control over you. And so you're unable to go where the poem takes you. You can find it in you can find it in Plato's stuff, Nudzo. I tell you, yeah, we're gonna time you out for a little bit there. I warned you. You keep it up, and next time it won't be a timeout, okay? Just to be negative, they do that. You know, there are people that think the earth is flat. I worked on satellites. Stuff I worked on is orbiting the earth still. The stuff I worked on in 1981 is geosynchronous orbit. It takes a long time for it to get back down here. Think about Pandora. Pandora's box is just a metaphor or analogy to actual actions and thoughts becomes add chaos indoors. Okay, so yeah, chaos, bringing up chaos there. You have chaos, that everything is array. Everything is disorganized. The puzzle pieces aren't together. It's just a mess. What does embroidery do? he stitches it together. Embroidery sews it all together and stitches it together. Nothing wrong at home, bro. Snatch. Pandora's box is snatch. You seen that? I think they got in China these things. It's a little tube thing. Yeah, you know, it's a certain size, a little bigger than your tool that goes in there. But the women could put that thing up inside them in this little tube with a bunch of like hooks, and you put your thing in there and you pull it out and you can't take it off of your winker. The hooks sink into your meat and you get tenderized really quick. Yeah, and I don't understand how these sleazes selling off the treasure. And of course, you probably should have done it without announcements and just oh yeah, it was sold at the auctions last month. You guys missed it, you know. But bringing attention to it just stirs up more drama. But he was selling it off because he told me in an email that he didn't want it to cause me trouble down the road. It is the car. And what do you do with the car? You drive it down the road. And he called it a great treasure. He said, he told me to take my great treasure to Texas. Is that where his went? So Pandora's box just throws the academics on their back. That's all. Chase is over. Run home, Jack. Bill Gorman. He'll be getting the chest when the auction is over. No, I think Run Home Jack is Jack, and he's trying to pretend he isn't, but he's having a real hard time doing that. and like he offered Forrest, I can help you get it to the person, get it off your hands, and make things turn into cash and do the payoff. But still, there was something that Forrest said did not fit in the box. There is something bigger than the treasure. But that's a secret. So, well, you know, so after you, well, yeah, I got a few $100,000 for the treasure. That's all I got. I don't have to tell about the secret stuff. The rest is secret. Be paid off in movie deals. Yeah, even the producer director that interviewed me, it was I look at it as a screen test. They do a screen test. What part can we put this guy in? What role can he play? Is he going to be a bad guy? You know, and sometimes like Harrison Ford in the movie Journey to Shiloh War. He got a bullet right between the eyes in the middle of the movie. Your early things, you're gonna have a small role, you know, an extra part. Can't be something too physical. You have to have a double for the physical stuff. And then I don't care if just somebody else plays my part. Kevin Bacon can do it. He knows about the 6 degrees of separation. And I suggested to my producer, I said, hey, you can write a show for Kevin Bacon about this, about my treasure hunt solution that is a sequel to 6 degrees of separation, and we could call it 2 degrees of synchronicity. It two things, they match. It's a synchronized, like the water's high and the warm water. You got to marry the two, marry the clues. The title has something. You got the trove and the chest, you marry those with the car connects them. Mario, chest, car, trove. Through the focus and concentration and safety, you can keep things good too. Yeah. Well, like right now, you can block the trolls on the channel and stuff. And if you're a public figure and you got too many trolls, you just go away, hide from it. You ignore them for a little while, they go away. So yeah, I'm hungry. Perception is interpretation. Interpretation is perception. But synchronicities are synchronicities. And so there ties with the police, synchronicity, which is on the Zenyatta Mandata's album. And I think John, you were asking what that meant, that Japanese comment I had on there. It translates into, I've been wise and found the blaze, is what that post on my community board said. And I got that after I found Zenyatta Mandata was Japanese. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to say I've been wise and translate that to Japanese and post that to have a synchronicity moment with the police. And when you make your secret journey, you will be a holy man. If you figured out, if you were guided to the treasure by the hand of God, you're probably a holy man. But I don't want to be a holy man. I don't want to. Oh, they kill those guys. They put them on, they nail them to boards and stuff. No, I don't want to be a holy man. And there's the question I've asked before. Does the chosen one have a choice? You're it, whether you like it or not. Oh, come on. Can you deal me another hand? Okay. I'm gonna end it like that. Y'all have a good night. Thanks for watching. Shiloh calls Indy. Shiloh is really communicating with Indy and Messenger, but she's not getting any important information. I guarantee you that. Okay, yeah, she's not. He's leading her on, and I mean, when these serious critics of mine learn, oh, it was Bill Gorman. Watch how fast they disappear. Watch how fast they disappear. Yeah. Greg been trying to get rid of them forever. And that's funny, that movie, Journey to Shiloh War, and there's a Tisha in it. And the thing is, it's a battle my great great grandfather was in, and I've got in my screenplay that I've been writing. I got like 60 pages, 70 pages or something. You got to have like 200 pages. You figure each page is a minute. But I don't want a short movie. So yeah, it was made. I thought it'd be a great Disney movie about a bird that goes to war. You know, he was known as a screaming eagle of the 101st Airborne. It comes from the eagle that my great great grandfather went to the Civil War with, the screaming eagle. And the Confederates had a bounty on him. He loved to hear my great great grandfather play Yankee Doodle on the fife. And I got picture of my great great grandfather with a cousin of his wife's, his future wife. I got a picture of him and Daniel Hall. And Daniel Hall, if you look him up, he was in the he came from a family that was involved with Detroit and stuff in the War of 1812. Okay, I got a lot of information about my mother did most, but with the internet, I got my mother's record and I took it back even further. So I downloaded everything from the Mormon site that linked to my family and put it in my tree. And I had over 6,000 ancestors in a book like this thick that I printed out my whole family tree, and it's like this thick. It was like 1,500 pages. And I think there's 4 generations on each page. And it's so each page is a tree, and the guy on the end there links this. It tells you what page to go to continue that. There's over 100 kings, 100 queens, hundreds of princesses and princesses, earls and dukes and lords and Lady Godiva. There you go, Fendi titties. Good night. Adios. Hit the button there. End all. Good night. Bye-bye.